Lately, I've been trying to simplify my closet, especially when it comes to pants, because why is it so hard to find a pair that actually looks good, travels well, and doesn't cost a fortune, Dan?
Well, Mark, that's why I've been living in the Jet Setter pants from Jack Archer. One versatile pair designed to take you from work to weekend without missing a beat. These things are seriously impressive. The fabric is wrinkle-free, stain-resistant, and somehow still holds its shape all day. No sagging, no stretching, no weird baggy knees. They're perfect for travel, too. I can wear them on a commute, throw them in a suitcase, or sit on a plane for hours and still arrive looking put together. And the fit? It's fully customizable. You choose your waist, length, and fit, athletic, slim, or straight. So whether you're tall, short, or somewhere in between, they actually fit you. Best part, they're just $89. For a limited time, get 15% off your first order using code GETJACK at jackarcher.com. Again, that's promo code GETJACK at jackarcher.com for 15% off your first order.
Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish and satin? Or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews, all on the app. Download today.
Hey-o, welcome to Heed the Call, an NFL podcast. Dan Hanzus here with Marc Sessler, Conor Orr, Justin Graver on the ones and twos, second show of the week. How the hell ya feeling, everybody? Hey, Marc.
Well, I don't. You've changed how I feel by introducing me that way, but I'll accept it. I don't know. It's like... This is normally the week where we're breaking down like 18 games. It's a definite mental shift to come into this part of the year, but this is when I believe we shine in the offseason in a way that very few shows could claim to.
I agree with that. I do have to say we're recording a little bit earlier than usual today to help out our producer, Justin Graver, who... You know, and we touched on this a few weeks back, but Justin's getting married in a couple months. We're all looking forward to it. We're already planning some North Texas shenanigans ahead of that wedding. It's going to be great. But also, we learned that Justin had opted to forego a traditional bachelor party in favor of something called a batch, which is a combined bachelor and bachelorette party, which is, I mean, a total disgrace. I think we all agree with that. Catastrophe idea theater. I mean, just like, this is like the NFL equivalent of deciding you've fixed your NFL franchise because you just hired R.C. Cola LaFleur and Nathaniel Hackett as your offensive coordinator. Like that's the batch party. So as we get this party going, Justin, the party being the show, knowing we're clearing the decks for your batch, it doesn't totally sit right with me because I stand against this with every fiber of my being.
Would it make you feel better if you just imagined that I was leaving for my bachelor party and that's why we're taping it early, and just forget that a batch is even a thing, or no?
I mean, to the point of, why did you ever tell us you were doing it this way? Because you knew where it was going to go.
I don't think he did. I think when he told us initially about the batch party, he thought it was cool. And, you know, like, I've seen movies, Connor, we've all seen movies where there is this element in the plot where there's a bachelor party and a bachelorette party. It's the same weekend. It's like, then they all end up in the same place by a confluence of events. And then, you know, cut to the maid of honor and the best man banging, and they fall in love and everybody's having a great time. How about a movie, Connor, where a batch is planned and then everybody says, this is a terrible idea. Let's do a traditional separate party. How about that as a film?
So Justin, and I think this is totally in line with his personality and the way that he secretly operates, has become a bit of a folk hero in the Orr house because I explained the batch and how outraged I was on the home front. And then I was like, God, could you imagine if my bachelor party was with, and then I listed some of the people that would have been at my bachelor party if we had done a joint batch. But then the counter to that was, I think this is really a nice thing that Justin's doing, and your friends are idiots. And remember all the dumb stuff you did on your bachelor party. And then became an indictment of who I am. And then this precious little Justin who does the, with his hands in his pockets and he's just like staring at his shoes like, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong. He just keeps rising up the rankings, public approval rating rising. And it's just frustrating to me that no one can see it the way that we see it.
It's a toxic situation.
It really
for you
is.
Specifically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that will be the entire comment section. Oh, Justin's just so progressive, and these dinosaurs don't understand.
Well, that would be my question. Like, Justin, like, is this wasn't even a thing when I had a bachelor party in not that many years ago, right? Like, is it the thing that everyone's doing now?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, I have never been to one, and I've been
cooked
to
it
a
up
few,
on your own.
Yeah, I've been to a few bachelor parties.
I have another
but
theory.
The idea was like, our wedding party, because Jessica's from Switzerland and most of her friends she made in LA, and I have some LA friends, but a lot of friends from back home, and they're all in the wedding party. We want the wedding day to be the best possible day. And obviously in the lead up to that, the wedding party spends a lot of time together, and there's like the Friday night rehearsal dinner with the wedding party and all that stuff. So we wanted all of these people to know each other well, and this weekend serves as a great way for them to have like a shared experience, bonding moments. We have a whole great weekend planned with like a murder mystery night and a quintathlon competition of events.
It's a lot of work.
It's going to be awesome.
Gotcha. We got it.
Yeah.
We got it. This was the work of Jessica. Okay, I got it now. I figured it out. Okay. The wife to be decided.
Justin.
Yeah, that's what happened here.
It
Maybe
was
we can
my
get some
idea.
confirmation later in the show. Let's just stick a pin in this one.
All right.
I think I figured this one out. All right, let's open
Whatever
up.
evidence you produce, Justin, the case is already closed in the mind of one Dan Hanzus. So.
No, sometimes you could just Minority Report something and just like zoom, 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 boom. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There it is. All right, let's open up the mailbag as we promised. And I want to say this about the mailbag. We always appreciate questions, Mark, right? From our audience, because that's them connecting with us in a direct way. But I also don't want to, I want to be real. The questions have to be up to snuff. Conor, you sent us that clip of the UCLA coach. We're not above, taking it to the listeners if they fail us. You want to play that clip, Justin?
I would like to give you a kudos for the worst question I've ever been asked.
I would like to give you a kudos for the worst question I've ever been asked. Who was this gentleman's name again? I want to give Mick Cronin. Actually, play the whole clip, Justin, because this is, again, in the mailbag situation, we're entering into a sacred bond, not dissimilar to Justin and Jessica, and trust has to be there. Give us good questions. We'll give you good responses. Here's this whole back and forth.
What was your thoughts in the student section chanting Booker's name?
I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section.
Overall, the way that you
I would like to give you a kudos for the worst question I've ever been asked.
Kudos.
All right, I'll take it.
Did you like
You should take it.
the preparation of
You really think I care about the other?
No, I don't think you care about the
Are
other
you
team.
raising your voice at me?
No, I'm
There you are. There you are. Come on, dude.
No reason.
Come on. Yes, you were. Everybody's standing here listening to you. Everybody. This is on camera. They can hear you. I answered the question. I could give a rat's ass about the other team's student section. I coach UCLA. I don't care about Michigan State students. I mean, who cares?
Conor.
Are you raising your voice to me? It's so good.
Incredible.
This is bringing back like just Vietnam like flashbacks to Cub reporter Dan Hanzus for the Journal News asking Rockies manager Clint Hurdle why Preston Wilson, the former Met, wasn't playing in the day game after the night game in the middle of September with the Rockies out like 20 games in the standings, and him just like turning to me and being like, is it all right if I give my guy a day off? Is that okay with you? If I give like literally 23 and pissing my pants.
You're suddenly like 3'4".
You ever get really dressed down, Connor? Like truly dressed down where you felt like you were going to just be a puddle?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Sean Payton's a great example. It's happened 100 times in the NFL. My favorite one, though, was similar to baseball because you had to parachute in as a young reporter, and you would do it when the baseball writers needed a day off. Yep. And this was when the Yankees were essentially like phasing out Jorge Posada. And this was like so dramatic, right? And he was being dropped in the batting order, and he was being removed from the daily catcher. Yep. He was like an every other day person. And, you know, it's this weird code in baseball writing where if you don't ask a question, you're taking basically like intellectual property from everyone else, and you're kind of like a leech, right? But if you do ask a question and you it up for everybody else, right, you know, then you're an asshole. And so with Jorge,
anxiety building.
Yeah. So with Jorge, like, you know, everything kind of comes to me. There's like 30 people packed around his locker, and I was just like, you know, is there anything you like about being a DH? And I just have this like dumb smile on my face, and he shakes his head and gets up and just leaves the locker room. And so everybody's just looking at me like, you dumbass. And I was like, I don't know.
It should be known that Jorge Posada was one of the core four of those Yankee championship teams and a very intense, fiery competitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Messed that one up. Yeah.
Hip, hip, Jorge. All right, let's open up the mailbag. There are no bad questions. There are bad questions, but we phased out most of them. So Justin is going to fire them up, and then we are going to respond. Go ahead, Justin.
All right. First question comes from Adam. What will be the biggest trope alert of the offseason? Is there a team or topic you're already dreading talking about for the next 7 months?
Connor, you're nodding your head. What jumps out to you immediately?
Oh, it's like a whole web that stems from the same idea, right? And it's that this team is going for it because guess what? John Harbaugh just got fucking fired. Everybody's going for it because these coaches know that if they don't win right away, they're going to get fired. And so what happens is these teams, you know, will sign Tyreek Hill. And then what else we're going to end up having are like those so stupid like Ari and Dove tweets that then tweet the lineup, and it's like Drake May plus Tyreek Hill plus Stephon Diggs. Who's going to stop them? And it's like, well, probably like 7 teams this year are going to stop them.
Right. You just named a young quarterback with 2 like 34-year-old wide receivers coming off major knee injuries.
Right.
We could probably poke some holes in that.
Right. So that all kind of bundles into the worst trope, which is that this team is going for it without recognizing the fact that like every NFL ownership structure is a toxic cesspool that forces teams to sign poor performing or past prime veterans, and then it regenerates the hype cycle, and just I don't need it. I'm not here for it.
I don't care how this plays out. I am JJ McCarthy'd out.
Ooh.
Like I feel like whatever interesting direction or non-interesting direction this takes, and it's going to start with Kevin O'Connell being pegged with a billion questions at the combine and go through the entire offseason. Because we may not know if JJ McCarthy is like even the week 1 starter until days before. It's going to be a long offseason of discussing this underperforming quarterback and whoever they add to compete with him.
I think that's a good one. And the way I see that as a specific storyline of the league right now playing out, and what makes it frustrating as a trope for me, is not just that that's going to be a continued like focal point around that team. It's that we're probably going to know exactly what the Vikings are doing, but then we have to go through the charade of training camp in the preseason of them pretending they didn't already decide that the guy that they bring in the next 2 months is J.J. McCarthy's replacement, but we have to protect J.J. McCarthy in our investment. So we're going to go through the whole summer pretending as if we still see J.J. McCarthy as the future and he has an equal chance to win this job, when it's actually quite clear that they've probably already moved on from him. They just fired the GM, by the way. But we can't really do that. We need to hear all the quotes coming out of camp about J.J. McCarthy making the leap and how the game's slowing down for him. And last year was a good learning issue. And I was never truly healthy, when the truth is it's going to be Kirk Cousins or Aaron Rodgers or Daniel Jones or someone else as the quarterback of that team next year.
We are just baked into a dog and pony show, and there's nothing we can do about it verbally.
Real quick, I'll just say, again, I want the Titans to be better this year, but this trope of coach who has already failed, but it seems like a cool hire, so we're going to forget about what happened in the past. So in this case, Robert Saleh, and then Cam Ward. It's almost like the Falcons now have been transferred to the Titans. So it's Raheem Morris. Like, wait, I remember Raheem Morris. He's not good at head coaching. No, everybody likes Raheem Morris. They actually think he's a good coach. It's now getting a chance to be successful. Now that's Robert Saleh. As I said, Cam Ward replaces Michael Penix. And there's just going to be a ton of hype. There's going to be so many people that are going to predict Justin's Titans to make the playoffs. And you almost don't want that to happen, Justin, right? You almost rather them be at a medium level of growing optimism, not be everybody's darling pick as the surprise playoff team. I think
it rarely
that's what's
goes well.
Happen. Yeah, because usually it doesn't. When everyone gets behind something like that, it goes haywire. You want it to find that middle ground. Maybe this helps where the Titans in general are kind of obviously lower in the pecking order in terms of national discourse. Maybe that will help depress it, Justin, but we don't want them to become the new Falcons or the new Giants last offseason, something like that.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. And I'm also fearful that the NFL is going to want to, I don't know if they'll do this. They never do this. Are they going to put the Titans on primetime 4 times next year? Because it's let's catch Cam Ward's breakout season just in case he breaks out. But then the backfire version of that is the Titans are still terrible and boring to watch.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they
know.
will.
They're not set up to go suddenly get way too many primetime
Yeah.
games.
I agree.
think 2 maybe.
Do you know what I think
it
will be similar to, as Wes used to call it, the Bermuda Triangle, which of coverage, which the Titans existed in that Bermuda coverage. They actually are going to need to make the leap and be an exciting team and a playoff team this year, and then they'll get a couple games. They'll get some pop if Ward is an exciting ascendant star. Anyway, all right. What else we got?
Dish it up.
Dish it
All
up.
right. Next one comes from Glenn Hammond. What is your bold onion hanger NFL related offseason prediction?
Bold onion hanger.
I've got something
ahead,
comes
Mark.
to mind.
Got to be bold.
On the other side of the NFL draft, a major name at the general manager position will be fired.
I like that.
It's happened before.
It's happened before. We did have a coaching cycle, a very active coaching firing hire cycle that had a somewhat unusual amount of GMs that retained their jobs, even though the coach was fired. So
what about a Joe Shane, whose role has already been somewhat reduced?
Yeah.
With the emergence of Don Aponte, who's had 42 jobs inside
Don
the NFL.
Aponte, yeah, and maybe, yeah, I think that's a good potential call because they don't want to blow up their staff and this close now to the draft. Yeah, I could see that happening. I could see that. How about you, Connor?
I think that after the combine, we're going to hear that the Steelers have made a call on C.J. Stroud. See if C.J. Stroud's available.
Ooh, that's
Like
a good
that.
one.
Like that?
Yeah, I do. I think that's certainly something that makes sense. C.J. Stroud's value has never been lower, obviously. I'll go with Kyler Murray doesn't go anywhere. Kyler Murray stays in Arizona. I don't know if that's that bold, but I think that one, when you do kind of break down and mention LaFleur, and he looks at his other options, that it might not be too appetizing, the alternative, and then on top of it, you're making a major financial, eat shit situation with Kyler. That would be my bold onion.
I think
hanger.
if
That's not that
they
bold.
could get a call on him too from someone.
Right.
But if you're positioned to be in a good place in next year's draft with a young quarterback, it kind of makes sense to keep Kyler for 1 year and just see what happens.
Right.
Maybe.
Unless you
I
want to
think-
tank. Because as much as he's been a disappointment in recent years,
He'll win you 7 games.
yeah, if he's healthy, which is also a big if, yeah, he will keep you kind of from being truly wretchedly bad. But maybe that's giving him too much credit. He's really fallen off. Like him and Stroud both in different lanes, but also from where they were even a couple of years ago to now. Tua also. Just amazing how quickly the stock, how things can change so quickly, where you can go from getting a contract like Tua got to being a team desperately looking to get rid of you. It happens quickly.
It's going to be interesting to see if LaFleur falls for the same premise that Jonathan Gannon did. But in a lot of ways, they're both right? I mean, like, you're going to get fired after 2 years if you're not good at this. And so do you want to burn one of those 2 years and burn all of that equity with, Clayton Tune at quarterback because you're going to get a better option in 2027? It's like, no, I need Kyler Murray to win 7 games and make it look like I'm legitimizing my place here. That really is the only option.
That is. It's a great point too. I mentioned it about Halfley on our last show. It's like you put these first year coaches in very difficult spots where it almost benefits the organization to go 3-14, but that's what leads to impatient owners firing head coaches.
Yes,
so it's like it's not lined up properly.
And they have a responsibility to their staff as well. The coach side of the whole tank thing is convoluted.
All right. What's next, Justin?
All right. Next one comes from In the Footsteps of Giants podcast, which sounds a lot like Walking with Giants podcast. Footsteps, walking. Would
Possible
Denver
legal.
have won the
Should
Super
we be
Bowl?
litigious about this?
Yeah.
That seems a little too close to our intellectual property, Marc Sessler.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to drag Christopher Walken into a legal issue at this point. It's thorny.
We try to keep him sidelined on it,
Yeah. Well, I don't know the power of this podcast, this Footsteps of Giants podcast. I'd like to assess more before I take them on in the corporate war field.
Very heady thinking by Marc Sessler. A great legal mind. All right, what do we got?
Yes.
Would Denver have won the Super Bowl if Bo Nix hadn't got injured?
I want to use this question more to tee up another question, which I personally, and let me know if you disagree, but I don't think anybody here was as big of a fan of the Broncos as I was. I think the Seattle Seahawks proved themselves as the best team. They were in the better conference. The Rams were the second best team. I think the Broncos would have put up a better fight than the Patriots, who were clearly inferior to Denver, but benefited from immense fortuity with the injury of Bo Nix. But I think the Broncos lose in the Super Bowl. My question to you guys is, what in your fandom qualifies as that biggest like what if sliding doors moment? Because Broncos fans are going to live with that forever. And I could talk to my intense Broncos fan friend here in town, but if you ask many Broncos fans out there, I bet this season will now zoom to the top of the list of like the great what ifs of all time, right? Like, oh, we would have beaten the hell out of Sam Darnold with our defense. Like things would have been different, but you never get to find out 'cause sports could be cruel like that. What's one that jumps out to you?
For me, a team, it would be the Rams because you were the closest outside.
No. I mean, in your personal experience, like sliding doors, like, if this just would have been different, like as a football fan.
I'm not going to go down the weathered road of the drive or the fumble because I think Cleveland would have lost all those Super Bowls that where they fell in the AFC title game. I really do. For me, there is an incredible oral history out there of the Butch Davis era Browns who took Ben Roethlisberger out in a driving rain to have him throw the college boy from Miami of Ohio before the draft, and they do not select him. Instead, they take Kellen Winslow Jr., who in the same offseason that Ben Roethlisberger got into a motorcycle accident or broke his leg or something, or he wound up being fine. Kellen Winslow is out for the year with a broken leg, and Big Ben goes on to dominate the Cleveland Browns for 1,000 eons. So that is an annoying sliding doors for me.
How about you, Connor?
Mine's probably like a 3-way tie, just very quickly. If Manti Te'o didn't have a fake girlfriend, how does he play against Alabama in the national championship game? If the zero blitz gets home against Ohio State in last year's national championship, do we come back and pull off the most stunning comeback and win a national championship for Marcus Freeman? And then the dipshit Yankees fan who I'm sure Dan just loves that ripped the ball
Jeffrey
away.
Mayer?
Yeah, that fucking asshole. You know,
He's entitled to that ball. Eat it, Tony Tarasco.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's just that's a three-way
Richie
tie for
Garcia
me.
down the right field line had a great angle on it, and there's nothing you could do about it.
Yeah, I mean, and then all the Yankees fans walked to school like little special boys, like they got to do every day from 1996 to 2000. So
that that was the Tuck Rule moment of that dynasty, because that kick-started their first win with Jeter as a rookie. So yeah, I can understand why that wouldn't sit well with you, Connor. I'm sorry. I think for me, the Rodgers Achilles and the Greek tragedy of it all on Monday night with the American flag, obviously. But I think the same Achilles injury, but Vinny Testaverde week 199 actually sits with the Jets fans who truly know that team was much better set up for a Super Bowl in 99 before that happened. But I think for me, it's got to be Belichick. Belichick resigning as HC the NYJ to go to the Patriots, and like what happens if that doesn't happen? That's a tough one.
That was probably the top 5 most embarrassing team interaction with head coach I can even think of. I mean, the Jets never really recovered from that.
No, it was a toughie. Tough sitch, classic tough sitch.
Do you honestly think though that he would still in your heart of hearts?
Yeah.
Do you think that he would have made it 4 years? Like if he went into it with all the intentions?
Yeah, I think at that time, I think he is an enormously successful, brilliant head coach in his heyday. I think they would have. The Patriots certainly wouldn't become a dynasty. Who knows if Tom Brady's even on the Patriots in this scenario if Belichick isn't there. It's just like you never know. You never know. And the chicken and the egg of Brady and Belichick will be discussed till the end of time. Maybe Belichick needed Brady to ever win a chip. But just the fact that what that did for the trajectories of both those organizations is something. It's why I'm an asshole, like playing that Scott Zolak stuff. Like it all, that's ground zero of the, Belichick and his decision and how that changed football history.
They
Certainly
hurt you when you
AFC
were
East.
young and vulnerable.
Yes.
When it hurt the most, and they never stopped doing that to you.
Right. And to be clear, not the Patriots, the Jets. Yes.
And I'll say Luka Doncic being traded. Does Kyrie still tear his ACL? Do the Mavs still get Cooper Flag? Who knows?
I mean, the fact that you ended up with Cooper Flag, like a generational rookie, kind of takes the sting out of this one a little bit, though. Come on.
It does, but it has
Come on.
my fandom has
just
been
totally dismissing Justin.
Well, the guy is already like on his way to the superstar club.
up.
He's like this charismatic, like young, like dude, and that the people of North Dallas are really, I imagine, into, and a great young talent. It's not like
you
ended
got
up
something, Justin. You can't feel
But go
totally
ahead.
pleased.
It's true, but something about the trade has it feels permanently affected my fandom. Like I've watched like 5 Cooper Flag games. I've watched 5 Mavs games this whole season. Like I didn't watch the NBA All-Star game for the first time in like 25 years. Like I don't even care about the NBA anymore. And I watched every single Mavs game that Luka Doncic played. Every single one.
Okay.
And here I am a year later, like I don't care about this team at all. So even with Cooper Flag, it's different.
Upside is the Dallas Mavericks won't be interrupting or derailing your batch gathering.
That's true.
With your interest at this
Yeah,
low
way
point.
off the grid. Cooper Flag, way off the grid this weekend. All right, let's take a break, and we can continue on with the mailbag. Becoming a parent has a way of shifting everything. You stop living just in the moment and start picturing the future. First days of school, big dreams, and all the little moments in between. For me, taking care of my family also meant preparing for the what-ifs, even the ones no one really wants to think about. That's why I chose life insurance through Ethos.
Absolutely. What impressed me right away was how easy it was. Ethos lets you handle everything online, from getting a quote in seconds to completing an application in about 10 minutes. Some people even get covered the very same day. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few health questions, and that's it. Coverage can go up to $3 million with plans starting around $30 a month, Dan.
Yep, and we're not the only ones who trust them. Ethos has earned a 4 4.8 out of 5-star rating on Trustpilot from over 3,000 reviews. Plus, as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Protect your family with life insurance through Ethos. Get your free quote in minutes at ethos.com/HTC. That's ethos.com/HTC. Ethos.com/HTC. Application times and rates may vary.
Here at Blue Apron, we know exactly how hectic school nights can be. That's why we created Assemble and Bake. Delicious one-pan meals that make family dinner simple. Just assemble the pre-chopped ingredients and put the pan in the oven to bake. Then you're free to help out with that last-minute diorama. Shop Assemble and Bake at blueapron.com. Get 50% off your first 2 orders with code APRON50. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
Fun fact, you can't get pregnant every day. You're only fertile for 6 days, ovulation day and the 5 days leading up to it. Natural Cycles is the only birth control app that can pinpoint your fertile window by analyzing your hormone-driven temperature trends. It's more than just a basic cycle tracking app. Natural Cycles is the only FDA-cleared and CE-marked birth control app and has helped millions prevent and plan for pregnancy naturally. Save 15% when you sign up today with code RADIO15. Learn more at naturalcycles.com.
All right, we are back. It's Mailbag Thursday on HTC. Let's dig back in. What?
All right, next question.
I don't know.
Comes from Thomas Reisman. Two-parter. Part 1. From which hill you were willing to die on before or during the season, you now have to do the walk of shame back down? And who do you owe an apology?
I'll go first on this one.
Is that second one sports related or like just in your life do you owe somebody an apology?
My dad.
This is an opportunity to take that wherever you want, Mark.
Okay.
Sure. I guess I would say I definitely downplayed the importance of Mike Vrabel in resurrecting the Patriots, and I thought he was a really good hire, but not a guy that could get them to the Super Bowl in year one, and we'll find out if that team truly was that good or it was just like a blessed year. But at the same time, I definitely owe Vrabel and Robert Kraft a bit of an apology because that was a masterstroke in getting out of a bad decision and into a far superior situation. And I did not think that Vrabel had that level of juice going into this year.
I believe that I owe an apology to the fan bases of multiple teams that I jumped on far too quickly. And I'll just pick one out of a hat because it felt real to me. Like my fascination with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which looked good early, but my inability to understand what was really happening there as it was slowly tumbling like a pack of sheep off a cliffside, like not to see that this was going in the wrong direction and to almost stubbornly, or not almost, to stubbornly stick with the concept of the Bucs months after it was stale cheese to bring up as a topic. And so I apologize to anyone listening to this, anyone in
you know what
earshot.
I picture? That meme or that clip that's all over the internet of the mountain lion on the steep terrain going to jump on the goat, and then the goat does his little spring escape move, and then you just see the lion like falling into his death in slow motion. That's Mark trying to jump on a bandwagon of a team, and then that team being nah, and then Mark just saying nah. That's how I picture it.
It's how it feels.
Yeah. How about you, Connor?
I would say to answer the first question, nothing. To answer the second question, f***ing no one. And to add a third, f*** you. I mean, like, honestly, like, this isn't like I'm right all the time, but this is like asking, someone like, why did you write that song, and then it like, why did Nelly write Hot in Here? And then like a bunch of girls got in trouble for like grinding on someone at the school dance. It's like, I don't know. He was feeling it in the moment. He said it. He went to the studio and he laid that shit down. Like, that's what I do every day. I come down here and I lay that shit down. And if you don't like it, f- you, I'm working with the information I have. Like, I don't feel like I have to apologize to anybody.
I think we got the lead for our show there.
Yeah. The lady doth protest too much.
I'm just saying, like, I'm supposed to apologize to, like, when I
keep this up. You're going to be with like Dan Orlovsky in the A block on Get Up. Good for you, Connor.
Thank you.
You do not back down. All right. Next.
Okie dokie. Next one comes from Colton.
His answer is Russell Wilson, the New York Giants. But yeah, go on.
I want someone in this room to look that guy in the eyes like I had to and tell him he wasn't going to be successul.
No, you were the right man for the job.
The moment in the park. Was that in the park during the catch?
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy's got the pelts on the wall. So you want to come after Connor, you best be ready. You better bring everything you got. And it still might not be enough.
Yeah, Matt Reisman.
Reisman. Rise this.
Next question comes from Colton. How bad of a move, from 1 to 10, was it for the Raiders to promote Rob Leonard to DC just to appease Max Crosby? Is this a solid choice or an ill-timed feeding of the crocodile?
Ooh, old Robbie Leonard catching a stray from Colton Kidder in the biggest of all spots. Not quite, but he is questioning perhaps the Raiders trying to put a Band-Aid on a wound with Crosby. I think the issue, I would say this, Mark. This is all I'll say on this topic. Mm-hmm. The Raiders are desperately trying to establish a culture and move forward as an organization and get their feet on solid ground. And maybe they could finally do it now with Kubiak and Brady handpicking perhaps Fernando Mendoza with the first pick and having a solid for once draft and a smart and sensible free agency. And the final piece, I would think, in the minds of the front office is Max Crosby is exactly the type of dude we need in this building to get these young guys to understand what it's all about. And he was born to wear the silver and black. So we are willing to take a chance here with perhaps an untested or unproven DC, because that's how important it is to keep Max Crosby in this building. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that if you look at their cap situation, their draft artillery, like, you're not put into a position where you need to move Max Crosby the way I might feel about a Myles Garrett if it were more tenable to do that. Like, Crosby, the more you hear about him, as like he's the light at the center of that locker room, and he galvanizes that whole group. My concern a little bit would be that this defensive coordinator is a first-time play caller. He's very young. Clint Kubiak is doing this for the first time as a head coach, but grew up in it, and I totally like that. So I'm willing to roll it. I don't think it's a mistake. The one name out there, though, was Jim Schwartz being floated with a link to the Raiders. Now, you put Jim Schwartz with Max Crosby, and you're telling Max Crosby, here's a guy that could maximize everything you've ever done sack-wise and numbers-wise. You could have one of your biggest seasons. There are whispers that he could still, Schwartz could still join the team in a different capacity, but that feels like it's floating away when you've named a new DC.
Why would he do that? Yeah, you cut Leonard off at the knees.
Guess the way that even Mike Vrabel did it with the Browns. If you have no job and you want to, it's work.
So Rob Leonard was the Raiders effectively their plan C last year. And here's how that went, because they wanted Robert Saleh, and they were going to pay Robert Saleh like $6 million a year to be the defensive coordinator and then hopefully take over for Pete Carroll in a year. Once Robert Saleh went to San Francisco, Patrick Graham, if you remember at the time, was a finalist for the Jaguars coaching job and was a potential bundle with Liam Cohen in Jacksonville. So the Raiders were waiting that out. And at the same time, they were interviewing Rob Leonard for the defensive coordinator job. They really liked him. They thought he was an upcoming candidate. And so I think that's one where, with Clint Kubiak, I don't know if it's unproven in a sense, because I think that he had a lot to do with the way that they called the defense last year. You're basically just kind of keeping things on an even keel, which is fine. I mean, and I think that Rob, to me, represents like, hey, this might be a better option because we don't have a dossier on this guy yet. Whereas if we bring in, whatever, hardened old DC X, it's like we kind of know what we're getting a little bit.
All right. What is next?
Okay, next one up comes from Albert Godleski. Albert Godleski.
Godleski, perhaps?
Godleski. Good one, Mark.
Big Al.
Okay.
How do you guys still have fun with the football season when your teams are pits of despair? Signed, a Cardinals fan. And we compare this with the next question as well, which comes from Adam. Am I destined for eternal sorrow as a Dolphins fan? Can a poorly run team ever find long-lasting or even midterm success?
Well, we'll start with the first question. Having fun means, disconnecting from the fan side of things and just following the league as it is and the soap opera that it is and all the fun storylines. And if you really love football, you'll still get a lot out of the league. But I'd also be lying to say that football is not as fun for me as it used to be, because you lose your team, in my case, for 15 straight years without a playoff appearance. It fundamentally changed my football fandom, and I imagine I wouldn't be following the league as closely if I didn't end up working for the NFL and doing this for a living. At a certain point, it probably would have turned into like my Knicks fandom, which lapsed in the first 20 years of this century before they finally came back. So it's hard, and you just gotta, I guess, try to keep the faith. But the point made by the second person here, Mark, is a good one, which is like, you're trying to feel hope, but you don't trust the organization's way of getting out of it. Like, is there any way that could ever happen? It's tricky. It's tricky rooting for one of these teams.
There's connective tissue between all these bad teams that seem to never escape the swamp they're in. I mean, I go back to for me, it's like, can I reconnect to the passion I felt as a young person for the Cleveland Browns, right? Like, it's there historically. In a certain mood, I can. I mean, I lived nomadically in like 5 different cities in my 20s and early 30s before I came to LA. And the first thing I do in every town was find in New York City their Browns bar, like 150 Browns fans there every Sunday. Denver, a raucous Browns bar where fights would occur and like people would be carted out, thrown into cabs. Like Phoenix, LA as well. Like there's multiple ones in LA. And when the Browns would lose, it would take me till Wednesday or Thursday to kind of reconnect with football and the sport and the sting of it all, and working in it, because we all have different functions and we've had different functions. Like, you really can't let that happen. I think that's my larger point, is that like I have to almost guard myself, or have in the years doing this, from falling too deep into the well of like this one team's result, because there's so much else happening during the week. And so my passion comes from this show, from broadcasting, from talking, from at times writing. And I can't let the Browns shake that, or I can't follow. I've got to be this. I can't do this with the Cleveland Browns.
I 100% agree. And we've both lived this during our time covering the NFL now. In a weird way, it's sad, but also secretly helpful. It makes the job easier, because when the teams are so hopeless, you can disconnect easier. I don't know. It would be very difficult to do this job if the Jets were relevant year after year. And my fandom, people complain that I talk about the Jets too much, as it is, and they haven't made the playoffs in 15 years. Like, so maybe this is exactly how it has to stay for the rest of time, or as long as we do this show.
If they became a surging power, the 3 of us are cooked.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we know that. So,
like, I have no idea what would happen. I guess. Well, we'll never know. So that's another way to look at it. All right, what's next?
Okie dokie. Next one comes from Tom. Do you guys ever watch the daily NFL/sports talk shows like First Things First or First Take? What sort of future do those shows have? Do you think CBS would ever start one with Tony Romo?
What?
What's going on here?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really. Connor, you take this one. Go ahead.
This team is DTF, Jim.
I guess quickly, no. I don't watch any of the daily NFL sports talk shows. And that's not – I think that there is an art to them, and I think that the people who do them are talented in that specific medium. But I don't like to be tricked for a living, or, kind of blanketed in false outrage. So that's not the way that I want to spend my day. And this is not like a diss on football. I just put very – thick borders between my job and what I do for a living and what I define as personal enjoyment, because I feel like beyond football, I need to have a life and a humanity and an existence. And so anything that I do for fun has nothing to do with football, unless the only time I'll break on that is, if Notre Dame's in the national championship or in the tournament, or I really like Division II college football, like Montana State, like the championship game, because there's a lot of cool like offensive stuff there. But otherwise, I'm not consuming any football content other than to study for my job, if that makes sense.
And I think also for doing shows like this, I intentionally don't watch stuff leading up to when we do our own show. I just don't want to be infected's not the right word. Just kind of, I want to come up with my own ideas. But if I'm in a hotel, I'll watch some of it. I like seeing them shout at each other once in a while.
All right. I don't watch anything. Yeah, I really don't. Unless it's on in a bar or something. In which case, the
right, it's being spoon-fed to you. In
Even
a
then,
place.
you go find the Touch Tunes machine and you throw on something a little weird just to see what the reaction's going to be. I think that's
just get people.
Just get people uncomfortable.
Get people talking.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got? And Tony Romo. I mean, listen, I think Tony Romo is going to play out this contract and probably just walk away, I would think, and go do something else easier where people aren't just constantly busting his balls for how fucking terrible he is. Like, he's like, I now have more money than I can ever spend in my life. I've set up generations of Romos to come. I'm just going to do the Joe Montana thing. You're going to see me pop up here and there. I'll do speaking engagements. I'll play a lot of golf, and everyone can go f*** themselves. That would be if I was Tony Romo, that would probably be my path at this point.
I mean, if you can, you're not robbing a bank or anything, but if you can get out of all this with $38 million and never have to look at Twitter again.
Isn't he getting like $20 million a year?
I think it's
What was the
18.
Romo contract?
Yeah, I think it's 18.
No, because the other thing, using Romo, now that we're on the Romo wormhole, let's not stay here too long, but once you are the established number one guy, like it happened with Phil Simms too, who Romo replaced, it's going to be tough to then stay in the industry, take a haircut, and then not be a number one guy somewhere else. It's kind of, the arc is a little tricky. It's probably, yes, more likely Fox hires him to replace, whoever in the on the dais if he wants to do that. But I think we're coming to the final years as Romo as a play-by-player.
When you get the sense that Phil Simms maybe financially had a different requirement to stick around longer than he did. Romo does not need to do this for 40 more years if he's been smart with his money.
Yeah. Simms was the number one guy for a long time. I think it was like he completely got erased. But before everything, he's probably annoyed. Phil Simms is like, wait, as soon as I leave, every guy starts getting $20 million a year? What the hell did I do wrong?
Connor, I wonder if you've had this experience, like having interviewed Phil Simms for a couple larger features that I did way back when. I'm not categorizing him as a rude person, but I've never had someone come at me with more attitude and just sort of like a grumpiness to each of my questions, which were about broadcasting.
You got Clint hurdled?
It kind of left me speechless, and I went back and listened to it a couple times to see if the tone was what I thought, and he's just coming after me.
I don't know if it's just me, but I always get mouthy with like NFL legends and handlers of NFL legends, because my take on it is, what else do you have going on today? Like, I've got about 11 things to do. I've got to pound out this feature, and it's kind of a good thing for you that people are still thinking of you in a way that's tied to the current game and that the zeitgeist hasn't totally passed you by. But if you want to be an asshole, I'll just tap in 2 questions and hang up the phone, because I got to pick up 2 people at soccer practice, and it's Ash Wednesday, and I got shit to do. So
sure.
We are allowing this to be a therapeutic session for Connor on multiple levels, I sense.
I mean, it is nice. It really is.
All right, let's take a break, settle down, and come back and finish the mailbag.
Go behind the scenes of one of TV's most watched true crime series with the 48 Hours Postmortem Podcast, where correspondents and producers take you inside each case. Every Monday, listen to a new episode of 48 Hours, and then join me, 48 Hours correspondent Anne-Marie Green, every Tuesday for a new episode of Postmortem. Follow and listen to 48 Hours on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ready to level up? Chumba Casino is your playbook to fun. It's free to play with no purchase necessary. Enjoy hundreds of online social games like blackjack, slots, and solitaire. Anytime, anywhere with fresh releases every week. Whether you're at home or on the go, let Chumba Casino bring the excitement to you. Plus, get free daily login bonuses and a free welcome bonus. Join now for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Play Chumba Casino today. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. TNCs apply.
All right, we are back. Let's dig back into the mailbag. What else you got in there?
All right, next one comes from Mason DeBrail. I don't know. What's Mark's take on the current state of the Star Wars franchise?
Well, I'll probably get about 8 seconds here. It is a complete disaster, in my opinion. And I tweeted it about yesterday. I'm sure you read that, Dan. And voiced my concerns about the direction of the franchise in general. They are coming up with a film called Starfighter that stars Ryan Gosling. So I think they're trying anything. Very little, if nothing, has appealed to me in a decade plus.
Is this like the entirety of Star Wars fandom now? Just you guys complaining about how horrible everything is?
It's a very segmented. I don't know exactly, but it's a very contentious, segmented fan base. Like with a lot of stuff where it's like you got the studio head that comes in and kind of screws everything up, and irritates old people that watched this stuff in the 80s.
But you'll be there. You'll be there opening weekend.
I don't. Where?
At the movie theater or something? I don't know. For the like Star Wars 47, the hope is continuing to beckon or whatever.
No, I will not be there. Like they have these things that when I was, a child or in middle school, most of these things have gone south. Like my favorite film franchise as a child has gone south. My football team is an apocalyptic mess to the eye. You got to let things go. That's what I'm going to choose to do. Google this.
Easily my favorite part of the Tuesday show.
Oh boy.
All right, what's next?
Okay, next one in the mailbag comes from, I love this one. I love this for so many reasons that have nothing to do with the actual question.
Okay.
So this Twitter user's name is Thickfingers with the handle at Mr. Thickfingers.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
And the question is, which is their next team that is going to move and to where? And I just love that Thickfingers has a typo in his question.
Fingers, yeah.
It's like perfectly.
Do you think that's part of his like shtick? He includes a typo stylistically?
It better be going forward because it's really
it is good.
It's a talker.
Can you check some of Thickfingers' other tweets to see if we have multiple typos?
Sure.
Because that is a pretty good hook. Everybody needs a hook, Connor, and Mr. Thickfingers has got his potentially.
Let's also pop into the visible likes just to make sure we're not promoting something that could be really dark or
smart.
disgusting. Yeah.
Also, yeah.
Just
button that one up. Let's button that one up.
Yep.
As far as the question, while Justin does the most important things associated with this one, I feel like it's been pretty quiet on this front now. Connor, I don't know which is the next team that is going to move. Like I looked up before the show, I just checked in on the Chargers lease. And that lease runs through 2040, and they're paying $1 a year to be a tenant. And they just built a brand new facility right here in El Segundo. So I don't think the Chargers are going anywhere soon, even though I'd love to see them back in San Diego, as many others would. Is there a team that sneaky could be in danger of rattling some cages?
I don't think so because we saw Buffalo cave. I think we're going to eventually see Cleveland get what they want. We're seeing the Bears play that political game of hardball,
Right.
and maybe they're the team that, okay, they're going to move to like Gary, Indiana, which is like 45 minutes from Soldier Field, and that's technically, a move in someone's
we're talking
mind.
more like the apocalyptic, like
Right.
losing your team to another market entirely situation.
And so here's my take on this. And this is not an endorsement or anything that I see going, but I think it's not, I don't think it's out of line to say that we're in fragmented political times and that we tend to bounce between extremes on both sides. And I think that the teams that you would look for are the teams that in like 2 or 3 years are going to need new stadiums, but are going to be under the political control of people who are, maybe more anti-billionaire, anti-industry, anti-taxing people for the purpose of, so if the political tide shifts majorly, you're looking at blue state teams that whose the ethos of their governing bodies are not going to be, let's give a bunch of tax breaks to a billionaire NFL franchise, right? I think that might make some sense.
And
the Chargers are the one team that I looked at and thought, well, there's not a fan base here, but the lease and all that stuff makes that much more complex. I kind of think it's more likely, although I hope it doesn't happen, is when is there talk about expanding? When do we want to add a team in Mexico City? Or I don't know why Canada gets blanked on every international project we attempt in the
because
NFL.
they absolutely failed their audition when the Bills went up there for a few years. They couldn't
that
fill the
was a
Rogers
mess.
Center. It just didn't connect. I wonder if they did that same exercise 10 years later, if it would have a different result. But I bet the NFL has regrets about how they rolled that whole thing out. But
Sure.
it's fair. It's fair to mention that. I'll just say when we worked at NFL.com, like the first 5 years, 6 years, 7 years there was just a constant drumbeat about teams potentially being on the move and all this other stuff. And I think when that stopped and it was almost like a black and white thing was the moment the Rams and the Chargers came to town, because for years and decades, in fact, Los Angeles was used as this major like chessboard piece that owners could say, well, if you don't build me a stadium, I'll move back to LA. They don't have a team there. And when that finally, and the league could use LA as a chess pawn as well. Like it wasn't until LA got filled again as a market that a lot of these teams lost that massive leverage piece that they could use to scare constituencies and fans. And I wonder if there's just not like that obvious move that owners can use as a scare tactic.
Right, you're right. And one of the moves that happened right alongside that was the last of the terrible old stadiums in Oakland being dispatched for the Raiders going to Vegas.
Right.
I mean, they were always kind of like that was a one to watch. I feel like there's so many teams with shiny new stadiums and deep leases that it feels like a stable time on this front.
And they left. The Raiders left California, and what they did, I don't love it. That building. Anyway, not bad. Just no personality. It's the Raiders. Go ahead.
That's shameful.
I scrolled through many, many Thick Fingers tweets.
We got a Thick Fingers update?
I only found one other typo, so it doesn't seem to be a shtick, but
hey, Thicky,
it does
let's
happen.
let's work that. Let's get that going.
Lean into that.
Let's lean into that
right.
and make that part of your brand. That's
Give us what we
unsolicited
want.
advice from the HTC heroes. All right, what else?
Okay, next up comes from Mocha Juniors, and this is a very complex question, but I think we can take it anywhere we want. Best sequel: Godfather Part 2, Paddington 2, Burton and Taylor 2, Use Your Illusion 2, Marino 84, The Bends, Nevermind, Succession Series 2, Season 2, or Donald Trump Jr. And I will go first before I turn it to you guys and say the best sequel ever is Terminator 2.
The real cinephile. Go ahead.
Terminator 2, best sequel ever. No,
You're going off list.
argument. Yes, I am. Best sequel. I wasn't.
Over Burton and Taylor too?
What is Burton and Taylor?
Yes.
I guess that's Elizabeth Taylor and the actor Burton getting married a second time. I guess that's what it means. I know Godfather Part 2, know it. Paddington 2, yep. Burton and Taylor married. Use Your Illusion is the Guns N' Roses double LP from 91.
There's
Marino
a second one of those?
84. They put them both out on the same day.
Oh,
Use Your
that's
Illusion
right.
1 and 2.
Yep.
The Benz as a sequel, I guess, to Pablo Honey. But actually, the move there would be OK Computer as the sequel to the Benz, or even Kid A as the sequel to OK Computer. Nevermind, I guess the sequel to Bleach. But really, you should go In Utero there for Nevermind. I don't know, man. I don't know. T2 is a good answer. I'll go there. That is a good answer. The greatest action film of the 90s and maybe of all time.
Has anyone here actually seen Paddington 2 besides me?
I heard they're brilliant, both films, but I just missed it as a dad.
Why would you see Paddington 2, Justin?
Because
but not Godfather Part 2.
Look, Paddington 2 is pretty much a
here we
perfect
go.
film. I mean, from like a
Justin was the only one who understood that Paddington Bear 2 was amazing. Here we go.
It is an extremely well-made film and a well-told story. And Paddington 1 is a good movie too.
I love it.
You were looking through the lens of a cinephile.
Yeah.
Any genre is welcome in your home if it will advance
And
your
just to
own nature
preempt
and
the
study.
little, throwing the bouquets here, it's widely seen that Paddington 2 is a great, great film. I don't know anything about it. I think if my sons were born 2 years later or sooner or whatever, we would have been in the Paddington window, and I just missed it. Mm-hmm. But I hear they're great.
I think your sons are now at the age probably where they like wouldn't give a shit about it, but like in 5 to 10 years, I think it's a movie that anyone can watch. Like adults should watch it and would love it. So it's a really good movie.
I mean, I saw it in theaters with my kids. I loved it, but like I would have been bothered if I was just sitting next to like Justin alone. I would have.
I'd be like, what is that?
I would have
What's going on with that popcorn
security.
on his lap?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yes, Jessica and I watched Paddington, and then we watched Paddington 2. After the hype about how good Paddington 2 was hit our awareness. We
Too
were like,
much
we need to watch.
information being unfurled verbally. So we're coming out of this conversation with somewhat of an agreement that Paddington 2 is the best sequel.
No,
Terminator
simply
2.
that it was a well-made film that was
Okay, I'll comfortably say Godfather 2 just because I think like you're kind of struggling to pitch something else.
Back to the Future 2.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2. You know what though? Rambo, like as the follow-up to First Blood, was amazing.
Yeah, that surprised me, Mark. But yeah, that's how about Recovering the Satellites by Counting Crows, the follow-up to August and everything after.
I
How about
hear
that?
you. Like but nothing will ever be what that first album was for me on the Counting
I
Crows.
like
front.
that they took it in a different direction. Let's save it for the throwback podcast, though.
Empire
we won't
Strikes
be on
Back.
that, but
What's that, Justin?
Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, come on,
Well,
we already did this.
But see, they actually did the impossible. But I didn't want to bring it up because the audience on this show is just a repulsive conversation partner on the Star Wars front. So you'd have to just say, from a cultural standpoint, that sequel has had more impact on America than any other sequel. Yeah, I'd Google it. I'm gonna click the off button on this device very soon.
All right, one more. Let's do it.
Okay, last one comes from Alex Everson. Standard, when will there be new merch? Question.
Oh, yeah. Season 2, Ceci, of HTC merch. What are we targeting? Springtime? Is that what we talked about?
I think springtime was what we discussed. We're constantly thinking, working. I've got a couple of kind of secret ideas that I'm cooking up to share with the inner group before we go wide with it. But no, we have the flexibility to come up with stuff on the fly as things are created in real time on the show. So it's a living, breathing, fabric-shaped document.
Wait, what?
Well, just like it's a journey. It's constantly moving.
That's true. I agree with that. It is. There will be more. You just lost me at the fabric-shaped document, but I get it.
Living, breathing document,
Living,
meaning
breathing,
like
yes.
it's a fabric. It's made out of fabric.
Yes. Be on the lookout in a couple of months for a drop. And if you haven't gotten your merch yet, our initial drop there it is. heedthecallpodcast.com for exclusive merch. More coming on the way. We love our hedonists. All right. So, Justin, we're going to get out of the way. You're obviously got to edit the show and get it up and out the door for this batch. Stated opinions earlier in the show. I wouldn't mind. Is Jessica available by any chance? Would she be available for comment on this?
I was trying to get Jessica, but she is unfortunately tied up in work calls because she's taking the next 2 days off too. She's got to get everything done today.
Right. And the last thing she wants to do is take strays and arrows about her weekend plans that she's probably very involved in.
Oh, what a white knight you are, Sessler.
Well, no, I want it to happen, but I can understand why she doesn't want it to happen.
There's no strays. It was simply I would like to have a conversation about why she made this decision on Justin's behalf.
That's fair. I actually wrote out 3 questions for Jessica because it did make its way into the rundown, but I'll save those.
Yeah. We'll table those. But I guess, Connor, but we'll be cool about it. Like have a great time to Justin, right? Like enjoy yourself or whatever.
Yeah, it's just like I think I still, and I just want you to know that I still think about this every single, like at least twice a week. Okay, when I was in 7th grade, okay, the big pinnacle of 7th grade was a sleepaway trip, both sexes. Right, going off to this camp in the woods, and it's where everyone has their formative hand-holding experiences, right? And my dad poses me the option of you can either go, or with everybody else gone, you can be the one kid on your Little League team that stays and that affirms his commitment to this group. Maybe you'll get to pitch. Maybe you'll get to play first base like you wanted.
Classic dad
And so I
move.
stayed for like a shitty game where we lost to Doc's Deli like 11-2 and got drummed because all we had were the younger kids on the team. And meanwhile, all my friends are just like flowering as people and seeing things, just like tongues and mouths and like, I'm just saying
brutal.
like not that that's going to be the theme of your bachelor party, Justin, but like, the one that you would have, but I'm just saying like some of this stuff does stick with you for the entirety of your life. So I know you're content with your decision, and I hope you are, because
that is wise counsel.
Yeah. So you're telling me not to have the weekend away with both sexes mingling and partying
weekend away
together.
With both sexes is akin to doing the right thing and staying home and playing for your shitty Little League team. Whereas going on a regular bachelor party would be like going out into the wild with, no supervision, little supervision, little rules,
Yeah, and like let me just say, like, what you're trying to counter here, Justin, is almost like akin to being snipped, Connor, to bring back something from your personal life. Like you're removing all the danger and any elements of true adventure that could come out of this weekend, because everyone's going to be on their P's and Q's ultimately. We don't want to do anything to mess up the wedding.
Hold on.
I feel like at a bachelor party, I would say about 4% of what I would say if there were like half the people were women.
Hold on. Well, very quickly. Is your anti-vasectomy take based in the fact that you could still create a pregnancy and that's like a spice in your life right now? Like,
I told you I don't comment publicly on vasectomy related conversation
I'm getting
anymore.
killed on various parts of the internet for my comments yesterday.
I'm happy for you.
Don't put
and
me
your
in
family.
Camp Batch. Do not put me in Camp Batch. This was a medical
yourself, bro.
choice. Yeah. This was a financial and medical decision. Nothing else.
Connor would be a perfect late ad to the batch party. He's safe.
Zero threat.
No threat at all.
I am so anti-batch, and I'm not going to say the thing that you guys hate, which is that 2 things can be true. But like, I can be anti-batch and I can be pro-vasectomy. Don't put me in the other camp.
Don't put me in a box. I'm sorry, Connor. Justin, and we're sorry to you that this is natural guys busting chops, right? Like. We want you to have a great time.
Well, it's become crystal clear why we were not invited.
Well, here's what's going to happen is most people in the comments are going to take up for me and call you guys losers. And so it'll all balance itself out.
Another
that way.
win. For the
and
producer.
I would like to get it firmly on the record. This was my idea. I pitched it to Jessica. We started talking to our friends about it like literally a year and a half ago. Before I even proposed, we were talking about this idea. So, yeah, super excited. Can't wait.
Is there any brushback from anyone? Is anyone saying, I'd rather you do it this way? They're all completely compliant.
Everyone's super excited.
It's like a bunch of Kirk Cousins' buddies. Like everyone's like, oh, it's going to be great. Cherry Cokes all around.
Yes, we did get Cherry Cokes. Yes, they're in the garage right now.
Well, have fun, Justin.
Have a great time, buddy. Enjoy yourself. Everybody have a great weekend. We are back with 3 shows next week. Combine week in our league. So we're going to do, as we always do, reacting to the press conferences of the head coaches and the general managers from Indianapolis ahead of the Underwear Olympics. So make sure you're there. When's our next show? Is it Monday? It's Monday, right, Justin?
Yeah, I'd Google it.
All right, thank you. Monday, HTC returns. Till then, have a great weekend, a safe weekend, a batch-like weekend. Heed the call.